Do you need a lift? Do you need a voice? Why don't you grab the Politicab?
On here. Okay. So
come on in and talk a little bit about where we're at with the election and what she's seen and people's collective behavior. And why don't you introduce yourself, Ashley?
hi, my name's Ashley King, and I've been a friend of Rob's for many years, and I'm a therapist in Center City, Philadelphia.
So the first thing I want to ask you is what the weirdest thing is anyone's ever said to you about politics, but I'm not going to.
I mean, there's a lot of fear and angst and, oh my God, what's going to happen? And this feeling of, it almost feels like people feel like if we elect the right candidate versus the wrong candidate, then we're going to be saved and somehow, everything's going to be okay. And God forbid, the one we don't want gets in office, then, we're fucked.
Maybe people shouldn't take all this stuff so seriously. Maybe there's some coping strategies.
There's very little sense of personal agency or personal responsibility. Like, it's really just our collective well-being is in the hands of one or the other.
And so the idea is it's up to somebody else.
That's what I'm seeing, and that's the thing that has to shift.
Right.
And that's the thing that I think is causing so much unrest for people. They don't necessarily see it that way or realize it, but I mean, if we really don't believe in our own sense of agency and power,
right.
I mean, how can we be solid in our sense of anything?
Do you think the process could change that would allow for more individual agency, or you just don't think people are stepping up?
Well, I don't necessarily, I don't want to say I don't think it can change, because that, I'm too much of an idealist for that probably, but I don't think it's going to change in the ways that we probably think it's going to change. I think it's going to, have to be sort of at some grassroots levels. I mean, I don't think it's going to come on, CNN and MSNBC that all of a sudden we're going to become enlightened about how we talk about this, and people are just going to see the light. I think it's going to take people doing some soul searching within themselves at the very individual level about what they're up to, and what the lens is that they're looking at this all through, and where the residue is on that lens, so to speak.
You described a process when Obama got elected that so many people were invested and worked their fannies off to get him elected. And then the feeling that, okay, he's in, now everyone can step back and go home and just chillax. I mean,
people were inspired about Obama, they really were. Yeah. And there was a sense of possibility. And I think that can be a beautiful thing. I think it also can be taken to the extreme when people think that possibility, once it becomes actualized, is going to sort of save them from all hell.
Yeah. Anyone who's watched any of these knows that I always ask the Bernie question, so I'm going to go ahead and ask it now. Bernie's out. He got done dirty, by all accounts. And did you feel that the Democratic primary and process leading up to the DNC, do you think there was like an energy change after Bernie hit the high road?
Of course, Bernie was that guy who was calling bullshit, and that's awesome. That's great. And it wasn't just that. I think that there was a spirit that got brought out in people about, that we could, in fact, create change, and that there could be something different. So yes, there was a massive shift in energy.
So then the fact that a whole lot of people aren't voting is even scarier than it would appear to be on its face.
Yeah. And you got a lot of people out there who, well, I don't know. I don't want to presume to know what their reasons are for why they might not be voting. But yeah, that's true.
So I wonder to what extent too people they internalize the whole their understanding and the way to behave in the political process from how they grew up and their parents and what happens, and maybe we're suffering from this sort of lack of participation, lack of voting hangover from a previous generation. So there you go. Blame your parents.
Yeah, here's the problem though. Speaking of blame, that is the problem. Everybody wants to blame somebody, right?
You got me.
Right?
You
And
got
so here we come back to it again, the personal responsibility thing. Yeah, it comes down to you. It comes down to me. It comes down to each individual.
Mm-hmm.
And we could sit in therapy and blame our parents for years about why we're fucked up,
Right,
but
right.
at some point in time, you have to decide that hey, I'm an adult who actually wants to have agency in my own life, and I want to move through this. I want to do something here to shift this. I mean, you can't change what happened to you, but we can certainly work through some stuff. And
You pirates out there, you Greens out there, you Libertarians out there, you GOP folks who maybe don't love Trump so much, and folks who do love Trump, give me a call. 610-291-5618. We don't have much time left. So you think voting's overrated?
do I think voting's overrated? No, I wouldn't go that far. I think it's it's an important civic duty, and I'm gonna hold my nose and vote, Rob. but I don't want to get moralizing about it, and I could go on my rants about what I see and what drives me bonkers, on the social media and everything else. But I think that we're not working with a whole lot of inspiration here, and I think that there's a lot of fear motivating people this go round.
So you have it now from a bona fide therapist and from Politicab. Get your ass off the sofa and go vote.